Shove it, man!
Alright, shovers. It's the Hawk here, there's no need to shudder. It's actually been a few videos since we've done one of these, but it's that time, once again, for everybody to shut up and listen, because I've got 2 words for you. Shove it. Next month it's going to be a Patreon request month because I've got so much to catch up on. Because I guess the Hawk is too busy ruffling his feathers in the mirror. And also I promised to mix some NWA TNA reviews in with that too. We saw DDP's TNA run on Ring of the Hawk a month or so ago now, so it's time for his WWE run now. My final verdict on his time in TNA was a C, so it actually wasn't that bad, but he had a lack of promo time and a lack of direction. So to beat that, I want to see a bit more from him. And of course, if you know a wrestler that can do the J-O-B to the H-A-W-K any night, any day, ha ha! Shove their name in the comments, Jack! Alright, let's do it. DDP, was he best off as the stalker, or was he better as a motivational talker? Page actually has a backstory before his debut match in the WWE. The WCW had just been brought out by Vince McMahon and the Invasion storyline is just starting. I was a massive fan of this at the time and I remember loving the story. I had no idea how much of a missed opportunity the whole Invasion thing was as a kid. And I really didn't care either. Vince really missed out on an opportunity to buy out the bigger contracts owned by Time Warner. We didn't get the NWO, we didn't get Bill Goldberg, Flair or Steiner. In fact, we only got 2 guys near the top of the card, Booker T and DDP. Someone was stalking the Undertaker's wife, and they had a disguised voice. After a few weeks, the stalker revealed himself to be Diamond Dallas Page. This raised more than a few questions, because being a stalker was quite far removed from his WCW character and his taste in women. Well, someone needs to shut me up and hit me with a brick, because Page tells us straight away he only did it to make an impact, and so that the Undertaker could make him famous. So straight away the WWE seems to be devaluing Page by saying he's not famous. So we're not exactly starting out strong on Ring of the Hawk this week. The Diamond Man opened up King of the Ring 2001 calling out Taker. Taker answered him later in the show with an unofficial fight. As it's not official we can't count it for ROH, but we can watch it. Taker battles in for ages with Page barely getting a punch in, and then Diamond runs away like a little girl who's pissed his knickers. At least they made it clear straight away that Page is with the Alliance, but that's about it. Anyway, enough rubbish, let's get down to what you all came here for, the matches. Match 1, SmackDown, main event. WCW Heavyweight Championship. DDP, what the hell, it's the WCW setup and the commentary team. This isn't the narrative you normally hear on the internet. Everyone here talks like Buff Bagwell versus Booker T was the only time this ever happened, and it was so bad it was the only time it ever happened. That was wrong, and here's the proof. He's challenging the champion, Booker T. I apologise for the long intro, Shove It Squad. Let's get the action underway. Page jumps Booker on his way to the ring, but Booker fights back by knocking Page out of the ring. Nothing really happens and they get back in the ring with Dallas getting the advantage. Booker tries the punches in the corner, but Dallas drops him on his face. Dallas follows this up with a big time clothesline and then he hits a second one. He sends Booker to the outside, but it was a bad choice because Booker sends him into the WCW commentary team. Page retaliates by throwing Booker into the desk. Back in the ring, Page flies off the top rope with a clothesline and gets a 2 count. The crowd are really into this match, which is another narrative that the goons on the internet don't tell you. Page starts getting cocky and he manages to hit a sit-out powerbomb for a 2 count. Dallas misses a splash in the corner and Booker starts his comeback. Booker hits the scissors kick and a spinneroonie. He boots Page, who falls out of the ring. Dally gets back on top on the outside and he lobs Booker into the steps. He decides to bring a chair into the match and he DDTs Booker on the chair, but Booker somehow kicks out of the pin. He tries to mash him with the chair, but then the Undertaker starts limping out to the ring. Page is distracted and Booker T rolls him up for the 3, as Page runs away like a little girl pissing and unhappy. A real mixed bag of a debut. It was a good competitive match, but it got ruined by Page running away. He does prove he can put on a good match still though. Okay, after the match, Page lures Taker into the car park where he's jumped by some WCW goon. Page seems to be commanding them, which is cool. Shane McMahon, the WCW owner, tries to stop them and Page starts beating him up. They all beat Booker T up as well. Okay, I'm intrigued. Now Page gets a B. I want to see more of him on Ring of the Hawk. And look at that, in comparison to his TNA time, he's packed with storylines so far. Match 2, Raw, Street Fight, The Undertaker with Sarah versus Diamond Dallas Page. Shane McMahon is also at ringside looking for some revenge. Page decides to get in the ring and Taker batters him in the corner. Taker then charges at him in the corner and I felt that one at home. Taker's looking for a choke slam, but then suddenly Shane McMahon climbs into the ring and attacks The Undertaker. That didn't really make any sense after last week. Page hits the dead man with a chair. Sarah then takes Shane out with a kendo stick, and then we get the first diamond cutter in WWE, as Page nails her with it. It wasn't much of a match, in fact it was thrown out with no explanation, but it was a good ending and Page is looking like a dangerous man right now. It doesn't matter though because the match is a D. Backstage after the match, Page tries to steal The Undertaker's big wheels, but he doesn't know how to start it. Oh god, and then Shane awkwardly has to show him how to do it. So now it's an S. Match 3, SmackDown main event. Kurt Angle with a plaster on his chin teams up with a dead man to take on the owner of WCW, Shane McMahon, and our guy, Diamond Dallas Page. Page acts like he's going to run into the ring with Shane, but he's a wimp and he doesn't do it. How can anyone ever wonder how DDP didn't get over in the WWE when Shane is portrayed to be the braver of the two? Shane gets beaten up for a while, but Taker wants Page to tag into the match, but he's still too scared. Angle tries to end the match with the ankle lock, but Page attacks him and throws him into the steps. Taker charges at him and he runs away like a little baby dumping in its nappy. Now that Angle's hurt, Page finally tags into the match. He hits a clothesline and a spinning sit-out powerbomb for a 2 count. Page continues doing well and hits a top rope clothesline for another 2 count. Angle then escapes and tags Taker into the match in a flash and Page is unable to run away. Taker absolutely batters him pillar to post. He hits a running DDT and then he follows it up with a choke slam. Shane breaks up the pin though. Kurt puts the ankle lock on DDP, but Taker attacks him because he wants to be the one to beat up Page. Then the whole alliance interfere and the match is thrown out. Taker hits a huge dive onto the alliance, but he doesn't telegraph it happening too much and everyone goes nuts. There's a massive out of control brawl after the match, which ends up with Page hitting the diamond cutter on Taker. Page is a complete coward and someone who's supposed to be a non-wrestler was braver than he was, so it's another S.
Shove it, man!
Match 4, Raw main event. Diamond Dallas Page, who's literally getting zero reaction from the crowd, now teams up with RHYNO to take on the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane. The big boys send the little boys to the outside of the ring, and then Page yells at RHYNO and tells him to get back in the ring. Why doesn't he do it? Because he's a coward, that's why. RHYNO gets beaten up for ages before Page finally grows the balls to get into the match. Undertaker takes him out straight away in the corner and then hits a sidewalk slam for a 2 count. Then the Dudleys and Booker T run out and the match is thrown out altogether. The show ends with a massive brawl once again and the alliance is dominating the WWF. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin turns up and beats up about 100 men on his own with a pool cue. Sorry Page, but for your lack of efforts in tonight's main event, it's another S. It's about time he did something. Match 5, SmackDown, not the main event. Diamond Dallas Page versus Y2J Chris Jericho. Page batters Jericho and hits strikes in the corner, followed by chops in the corner. Jericho fights back with a couple of clotheslines. Jericho then charges and hits a crossbody, but he can't get the free. Jericho tries to lock on the walls of Jericho, but Page fights out of it with a thumb to the eyes, and then he scores his own clothesline knockdown. Page gets a 2 count on a belly to belly, and he can't believe he didn't get the free. Page continues to dominate as he hits a knee in the gut and a spinning sit-out powerbomb. Page is really trying hard tonight and he goes for a backslide, but Jericho reverses it into a DDT. Jericho starts his comeback and hits a bulldog, but WCW referee Nick Patrick refuses to count. Page rolls up Jericho, but he's still unable to win. Jericho takes Nick Patrick out and drop kicks Page out of the ring. Referee Nick Patrick calls for the bell and Page is the winner by DQ. After the match, Jericho puts him in the walls and he taps out. Jericho then whacks him with a steel chair. Page wins by DQ, but he's still unable to win a match on his own. It's a D. After this, DDP carried on picking on women as he shoved Stone Cold's wife Deborah in the boot of his car and Stone Cold chased after him in a limo, but nothing really came of it. Match 6, Invasion main event, inaugural brawl. The Dudley Boys, RHYNO, Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page take on The Undertaker and Kane, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle and Stone Cold Steve Austin. One of these teams is not quite like the other one. It's a joke that this is the best team the Alliance could put out. Van Dam competed earlier in the night, so he's not here. They should really have turned Regal heel earlier, or had Jericho and the Big Show join them. Page is completely useless in this match. It takes him a full 10 minutes to land a punch. He finally comes in with The Undertaker already down. He scores a 2 count from a clothesline. He then hits another clothesline for another 2 count. Page hits a DDT and scores a third 2 count and tags out because he can't do enough damage to get the win. Later on, Page tries to interfere, so Kurt Angle sends him flying like the Hawk. Another 5 minutes later, Page is finally in the match and he hits the spinning sit-out powerbomb on Angle, but the pin gets broken up. Page flattens Angle with a clothesline and he gets another 2 count, and then he tags out again. I don't expect to see him for another 5 minutes. Well, I'm actually wrong. Page tags himself back in and hits Kurt Angle with the one and only. Page tries to get Kurt Angle to tap out, but he can't manage it, and then Angle throws him overhead. Out of nowhere, Page hits the diamond cutter on Angle for zero reaction. Even the commentary call it a neck breaker. This guy had no chance of succeeding when the damn commentary are against him. The match breaks down and Page is left getting battered by Taker in the ring. Taker hits him with a choke slam and wants to finish the match off, but a WCW referee makes the save. Everyone's hitting cool moves and DDP has literally disappeared. The match ends when Stone Cold Steve Austin turns heel and stunners Kurt Angle. It was a half-hour match and DDP literally hit 3 moves and 2 of them were clotheslines. He could shove it for wasting half an hour of my life. It's an S. After this, Page continued picking on the Undertaker's wife because he wasn't having much luck against the wrestlers. Match 7, SmackDown. Diamond Dallas Page versus the big red idiot Kane. Kane floors Page straight away and then Kane batters him in the corner. Page tries to bounce off the bottom rope but Kane floors him again. Kane then hits a big boot to take him out yet again. Kane flies through the air like the Hawk and hits a clothesline. Kane then looks like he's about to win, but Page suddenly takes him down with a DDT counter. Page then gives a neck breaker to Kane, but he can't keep him down, so he hits him with a clothesline. Page finally has Kane down and he climbs to the top and scores a clothesline for a 2 count. Page looks for the diamond cutter next, but Kane counters with a power slam. Kane then gets Page hung up on the ropes in the corner and boots him in the gut. Kane then hits the sidewalk slam and clotheslines Page out of the ring. This is a good big man match, much better so far. DDP throws Kane into the steps and continues beating on him. Page grabs a chair but misses his swing. Kane then grabs the chair and jabs Page in the ribs with it. Nick Patrick calls for the bell and Page is apparently won again by DQ. Page runs away like a little baby puking in its nappy. I did enjoy this one, but give him a proper win for God's sake and stop him from running away all the time. It's a C. DDP continues to feud with Taker, but KANE has now joined the feud wearing a blonde wig. These guys were 2/3 of the team in the WCW known as the Jersey Triad, but we aren't here to talk about that. So shut up or I'll smack you one. Match 8, SmackDown opener. WWF Tag Team titles, the champions are APA, and they take on the team of Chris Kanyon and Diamond Dallas Page. Farouk pounds on Page and he mutters swear words under his breath as he tries to escape. Page hits a jawbreaker and tags Kanyon in. He doesn't do well against Bradshaw, so he tags Page in. Daly doesn't fare much better and he almost loses to a DDT. Page finally gets the better of Farouk as him and Kanyon hit the 3D2 and then they get a 2 count. The Diamond Man gets another 2 count with a clothesline before Farouk hits a big time spinebuster. Bradshaw batters both men and it's not exactly looking good for them. Suddenly Test appears at ringside and he takes out Farouk. Then he gets in the ring and hits Bradshaw with a belt and Kanyon makes the cover and it's over. So we now have new tag team champions, but we're still waiting for Page to get a proper win. Again, he hit about 2 moves. He looks so weak and helpless. It's a D. Match 9, SmackDown, WWF Tag Team titles, Edge and Christian versus the champions Kanyon and DDP. Page starts out with Edge, who takes him down with a spinning wheel kick. Christian then gets in the ring and he takes Page out. Daly runs away like a little baby turding in its nappy, and he tags Chris Kanyon in. Page takes out Edge on the ring apron and he takes Christian out of a sleeper slam. He tries it again but Christian reverses it and tags Edge in whilst Page also tags himself out. The blonde boys both grab chairs but Lance Storm appears in the ring and he knocks out Edge with a kick. Kanyon crawls over and makes the cover but Edge kicks out. Page then hits a diamond cutter on Edge and Kanyon makes the cover and it's over. Slightly better, but he's still yet to make the pin himself. It's a C. Match 10, SummerSlam. Tag title unification cage match. The WWF Tag Team champions Kanyon and Diamond Dallas Page, who look like they're spraying piss as they walk, are taking on the WCW Tag Team champions, the Undertaker and Kane, with Sarah. I think I know how this one goes already. Sarah looks like a pigeon here. Taker batters Page and takes him down with a big boot and then he throws Page into the corner and punches his gut as Page screams. Taker goes for a choke slam but Page hits a low blow and throws Taker into the cage a couple of times but he doesn't even leave his feet. Taker says enough is enough and he takes out Page with another boot. Page isn't having a good night and he takes another boot to the face, this time from Kane. Taker lobs Page into the cage a couple more times and it's one of the most one-sided cage matches I've ever seen. Taker sprints at Page and squashes him against the steel cage, and then he gives him a 4th boot to the face. He better hope he has dental insurance after this one. Page finally hits a move and he nails the evil one with a DDT. Page and Kanyon try to leave the match, but the big boys sit up and stop them from leaving. Taker kicks Page off the cage and he falls on the ropes, nutsack first. The big brothers decide to let KANE leave so they can punish DDP further. DDP realises what's happened and he lumps in his panties. Taker takes him out of a big time sidewalk slam, but he decides not to end the match yet. Taker backs DDP into the corner and he pounds on his head time and time again. I always wondered how Page ended up looking like a burnt squash crab in TNA. Taker strangely tells DDP he can leave now, and Page starts frantically climbing the cage. Taker then changes his mind, or maybe he was lying, and he chokeslams Page from the top. Taker then points to his wife and says this one's for you, and he hits the last ride on Page. It's over. It's an S for DDP. I'd hope this stupid feud with The Undertaker and his wife was now over, but hold on, that ain't all. Match 11, Raw, main event, Diamond Dallas Page versus Sarah with The Undertaker. DDP gives Sarah the first shot and then he asks for another. He shoves down Sarah and then he stops her husband from getting involved. Taker then does get involved with the referee distracted and he pounds on Page. He then delivers a choke slam on the outside of the ring. He rolls Page back into the ring and Sarah makes the pin for the 3. It can't get much more humiliating than that. DDP, a man who gave it his all in wrestling and worked his way up the WCW card at a much later age than most wrestlers do, earned his place on the card, and just like this, in 11 matches, he's now worthless. He might as well team up with Sean Stasiak as the 2 biggest jokes in the company at this time. Do I really have to say it? It's an S. It's impossible to take this guy seriously ever again now. Well, I guess management thought the same, because Page was taken off TV for the next 2 months, and when he returned to TV, he had a smiling gimmick? He's now gone from psychopath to a man who's brain dead. And he has a new catchphrase as well. Because that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. Alright, don't flatter my feathers, I know he's doing a motivator gimmick, but he just looks like he's off his rocker. Who does that sort of smiling? These Positively Page promos are actually hilarious, and I enjoyed this gimmick. He would insult his opponents, but he'd be really happy and nice about it at the same time. Match 12, Rebellion, DDP versus The Big Show. Page looks happy to see him. Show throws him onto his face and then he pounds on him in the corner. Page tries to fight back with some punches but Show throws him back. Page can't take him off his feet and Show knocks him out of the ring. The Big Show picks him up and puts him straight back into the ring, so what was the point? Page finally does something as he takes Big Show down with a chop block. Next up, Page leaps from the top with a clothesline. Page tries to put on an Indian deathlock, but Show slaps some sense into him. Show looks for the choke slam, but Page hits him with the diamond cutter. He manages to make the cover, but he only gets a 2 count. Show then gets up and hits the choke slam, and it's over. Well, now that we aren't trying to take him seriously, this loss was easier to take. It's still a bad 3-minute match though, don't get me wrong, and it's a D. Match 13, SmackDown, DDP. Wait, no, it's The Big Show dressed as DDP. Big Show does a hilarious and funny DDP impression, and this brings out the real Page, who seems to find the impression funny too. I love this gimmick so much. Show batters DDP whilst wearing the blonde wig. Show then hits an absolutely humongous chokeslam, and it's over in seconds. Shane McMahon runs out and hits one of those amazing diving chair shots on Show. I know DDP lost in seconds, but I loved this whole segment. Very entertaining. It's a B for making this a happy hawk. Match 14, Survivor Series 2001, Immunity Battle Royal. This was my favourite pay-per-view as a kid, and I've seen this match a million times. As a kid, I genuinely believed that one company would be going out of business after this show, and JR and Heyman do an amazing job on commentary portraying the desperation to win, and it really adds to the show. This is basically just a match with all the jobbers and mid-carders shoved in the ring, and the winner gains immunity from being fired for 1 year. You would barely know DDP existed in this match if it wasn't for his pearly smile. DDP does knock down Billy Gunn with a clothesline, and he celebrates, and then Billy Kidman chucks him out the ring. It's an F. This match is eventually won by Test when he big boots Billy Gunn out of the match. Match 15, 2 months later, SmackDown, DDP versus the Big Boss Man. Sorry, I mean the Boss Man. He's no longer big apparently. What a weird matchup. Well, apparently if DDP wins this match, he'll be reinstated following the Alliance's loss at Survivor Series. Bossman wallops Page in the corner, then he throws him into the opposite corner. Page scores a knockdown with a clothesline, but Bossman scores his own with a boot. Bossman hits a big time spinebuster, but doesn't make the cover. Page then starts to fight back with a clothesline, but Bossman cheats and hits him in the nutsack, and then he drops him on his face. Bossman is humiliating DDP and Page looks like a complete jabroni, but suddenly, out of nowhere, Page hits the diamond cutter. and he covers BOSSMAN for the 3. Finally, Page wins a match cleanly. It only took 15 matches. It was still bad and he looked completely useless. It's a D. Match 16, Royal Rumble 2002, the Royal Rumble match. Dallas has drawn entrance number 14 in the match. Only the European champion Christian and Scotty 2 Hotty are in the ring, so pretty good timing for him. Page heads straight for Christian and knocks him down with a clothesline. Christian is annoyed, so he takes Page down with a reverse DDT. Dallas is even more annoyed, so he hits Christian with a diamond cutter. Scotty nails him with a super kick and Page tumbles out the ring through the middle rope. Scotty is distracted by the worm and Dallas comes back into the ring, seizing the opportunity to throw Scotty 2 Hotty out of the match. I'm shocked, he actually got an elimination. Chuck is now in the match, but Page takes him down with a net breaker. Christian takes the Diamond Man down with a clothesline and then he works with Chuck Palumbo to throw him out the match, but they don't manage it. The Godfather makes his entrance, but Page gets thrown out of the match completely off camera. They have to show it as a replay, so it was Christian who threw him out, but it was deemed not important enough to be shown properly. It's an S despite him eliminating one man. Page would get his revenge pretty quickly over on Heat with a non-title victory on Christian. Match 17, Raw. The Godfather teams with Diamond Dallas Page to take on Christian and Lance Storm. Godfather is isolated for ages and the crowd start a loud DDP chant. This smiling gimmick is actually working. I thought he was dead and buried after that Stalker gimmick. Page gets the hot tag and he takes Storm down with a clothesline. Storm and Christian then cheat, but they can't put Page away. Suddenly DDP hits the diamond cutter and he pins Lance Storm for the 3. Page heads into the crowd to celebrate. Another feel-good moment. The match itself wasn't good, but the entertainment was, so it's a C. Match 18, Raw, European Championship match. DDP, the challenger, versus the champion, Christian. Christian slaps Page and Dally chases him around the ring. Wow, how things have changed for Page. In the ring, Dallas hits a Total World side slam and takes Christian down with a clothesline. Christian gets back on top by suplexing Page on the ropes and launching him out the ring. On the outside of the ring, Christian throws him into the steps. The crowd are loudly chanting for Page at this point, and he fights out of a sleeper hold with a slam. Page knees Christian in the gut and then hits a devastating sit-out powerbomb, but Christian kicks out too. Christian tries to fight back, but Page pulls Christian into the ring pole, nutsack first. Page tries to put Christian away, but he blocks the diamond cutter and puts his feet on the ropes. Page somehow kicks out though. Christian counters another diamond cutter with a reverse DDT, but Page kicks out at 2, and Christian throws a temper tantrum. Page tries for a 3rd time to hit the diamond cutter, and this time he nails it, and it's over. We have a new European champion. I'm completely behind him here. Christian's temper tantrum continues in the ring as Page celebrates his win with the fans. A good match and the crowd cared, and I was entertained. It's a C. Page wrestled on the B shows for a while now, but he did become Christian's life coach and tried to help him to smile and like himself instead of throwing tantrums. Christian was on a losing streak and Page helped him to finally win a match. Christian is a dick and he attacked Page after that match because he no longer wanted him. Match 19, WrestleMania X8 for the European title, the challenger Christian versus the champion Diamond Dallas Page. Christian jumps Page straight away, but the Diamond Man isn't phased and he hits a gutbuster. Page sends Christian to the outside and he smashes Christian a couple of times into the crowd barrier. Back in the ring, Page tries to hit the 10 punch in the corner, but instead he gets a punch to the nutsack. Christian drops Page gut first across the ropes and then sends him into the crowd barrier. Back in the ring, Page mounts a comeback and he tries to pull Christian into the ring pole, but Christian counters it. Christian locks on the abdominal stretch and drops Page over his knee, but he can only get a 2 count. This match is really back and forth and Page power slams Christian off the top rope. Page delivers a spinning sit-out powerbomb, but Christian gets up at 2. Christian almost puts Page away with the reverse DDT and he starts to lose it. Page almost sneaks the pin at this point. So many counters in this match, and then Page finishes him with the diamond cutter to retain his title. After the match, Page congratulates Christian on not losing his temper, which causes Christian to of course lose his temper. A good match and entertaining again. It's another C. This positive Page run has really been a massive turnaround for the Diamond Man. Match 20, SmackDown, European Championship, the challenger William Regal versus the champion DDP. Regal frantically tries to score a pinfall. DDP takes Regal down for back body drop and again with a clothesline. DDP gets another lockdown with a net breaker for a 2 count. Regal fights back with a knee to the noggin and he gets a 2 count of his own. Regal continues the assault and he hits a big suplex. Regal hits another move and he's really dominating this match. DDP finally does something and he hits a clothesline and a sit-out powerbomb for a 2 count. He nails a painful looking DDT and he makes the cover, but then Christian, who's dressed like a homeless man, pulls him off Regal. The referee's distracted by Christian and Regal hits Page with the brass knuckles. Regal locks on the Regal stretch and Page is knocked out. We now have a new European champion. The match lacked energy and it felt like a pointless title change. It's a D. Match 21, Raw. Edge teams up with DDP to take on Christian and Booker T. Diamond knocks Booker down with a big clothesline and then he whacks Christian off the ring apron. Christian retaliates by snapping him over the ropes. Booker looks for the scissors kick but Page reverses it and nails the diamond cutter. Christian manages to break up the pin and he delivers the unprettier to Page. As he gets to his feet, Booker crashes on top of him with a scissors kick and it's over. He was useless and lost in about 30 seconds, so it's an S. Match 22, SmackDown opener. Booker T versus Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond is still getting good reactions from the crowd at this point, despite his weak booking. Booker takes Page off his feet with a kick. He tries to lock in a sleeper hold, but Page fights out of it. Page gets a 2 count on the sit-out powerbomb, but it doesn't look like Booker's down for long and he kicks Page again. Suddenly Page hits a running diamond cutter, and Booker looks like he's done. But then randomly Brock Lesnar appears in the ring, and he delivers an F5 to Diamond. The match is ruled as a no contest, but in my eyes Diamond deserves to win by DQ, as nothing happened to Booker and Page had the match won at the time. It's a D. Match 23, SmackDown, Christian versus Diamond Dallas Page. Maybe this will be the blow-off to their long-running feud. Page starts out getting the better of Christian and he knocks him out of the ring. Christian snaps him across the ropes and comes back into the ring with a Russian leg sweep. The Diamond and Christian exchange pinfalls before Page slams Christian. DDP then does the most bizarre thing from his WWF run, and that's saying something. I have no idea what this punch combination was about. Was he telling Christian to take deep breaths? Page hits the powerbomb but Christian kicks out, and then Christian hits a backbreaker and Page kicks out. Page tries to hit the cutter, but Christian holds onto the ropes. Page almost rolls Christian up and Christian fights back with a reverse DDT for a 2 count. And now Christian completely loses it and throws a temper tantrum. Page tries to help him, so Christian pokes him square in the eye and nails the unprettier for the 3. I guess he was playing possum. So that's the end of the feud. A really good match. These two had some great in-ring chemistry. It's a C. Before the next match, Page seemed like he was starting to get more angry at himself and wasn't such a good, smiley, positive person. Match 24, SmackDown, final match. Diamond Dallas Page versus Hardcore How Do You Like Me Now Holly. DDP has officially turned into the boiled crab at this point. Hardcore pounds on Page, but the Diamond knocks him down with a clothesline, and then he follows it up with a net breaker. Page tries the punches in the corner, but Hardcore drops him on his shiny teeth. Hardcore boots Page in the nutsack and chops him in the corner. Page hawks up and returns the beating in the corner. Holly then delivers a suplex, and strangely he climbs to the top rope, so Page stops him. Page scrambles up the corner and then delivers a second rope suplex. Unfortunately, there's no cover and he might have had the match won. Page hits a couple of clotheslines and then he tries to nail the diamond cutter, but Hardcore boots him with a dropkick and then he makes a cover for the 3. I forgot that a dropkick was ever a finishing move. After the match, Page nails the diamond cutter, so it looks like this feud with Hardcore Holly might continue. But we all know it didn't, because this was his last ever WWE match. It's a D. Page was pretty beat up at this point, and he let his WWE contract expire. He went on to join TNA for 10 matches, which was actually alright. So this is going to be a tough one to grade. It was like two polar opposites. The Stalker run in the Alliance was an S, but the second Positively Page run was amusing enough and it was probably a C. So I have no choice but to go in the middle overall and give him a D, which means he's now DDDP, if you get me. And if you don't agree with that, I'll make you piss your pants and flee.